Let's talk about something that isn't that great. KSI versus Logan Paul 2 going down, Staples Center. I still do not know if I'm credentialed. I will know by tonight or tomorrow from Anthony Lever of Matchroom. That's what he told me. And I was kind of hoping to know before I did this show, in case they're listening.
No. Play nice.
No, Rob, I'm not going to play nice. Fuck that. They could have saved me from this rant, Rob. I gave them the blueprint. You have the necessary ingredients there, too, for a good card. You have Devin Haney. You have Billy Joe Saunders. Yeah, that's all I really needed. Some good prospects like Diego Pacheco and your guy, Nikita Bobby. But they completely dropped the ball by matching up both Devin Haney and Billy Joe Saunders with complete no-namers. So to entice me, a hardcore fan and a reporter of boxing, not YouTubers that then do boxing, it's hard for me to get up for this card. It is. Other than it's going to do views potentially because it's KSI Logan Paul, so, it's good for business, but, fuck, I really don't care about that. If there's one thing you guys should know by now on this platform, in this channel, I tend to think business is a third or fourth priority and that we should put out good content that's substantive. And KSI Logan Paul lacks complete substance and is a complete circus show, and it definitionally is a circus show. It is two guys who have zero fighting experience headlining a card above world champions because they are just celebrities. That is definitionally a circus show fight. So I don't know how to get excited for this one. Again, if Devin Haney and Billy Joe Saunders were matched up, even not super amazing. I'm not expecting Billy Joe Saunders versus Andrade or Callum Smith. I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting just a decent matchup. Him fighting a top 10, 15 guy. Give me that at least. Give me a Porky Medina versus Billy Joe Saunders, for God's sake. At least that, right? For Devin Haney, there was no one in the top 15 you guys could bring up. No one. Honestly.
Who is Devin Haney fighting?
Alejandro Santiago, I believe was his name. I will look
is he related to our Santiago?
No, I was actually going to make that joke, but thank you for jumping in there. No, he is not. But yes, that's... So we have a situation here where, Ryan Rios is on the card fighting Hugo Barrio. There's nothing here to entice the hardcore fans. And DAZN dropped the ball with this one completely. And on top of it, for Joe Murkowski to come out there, and I'm going to keep reiterating this point, to come out there and say that we should get off the couch or we should get off whatever and get off the keyboards and complaining about this matchup. Dude, you're yelling at your consumers, your main consumers to your platform in the U.S. are boxing fans. Guess what? I guarantee you, I don't have the internal metrics, but I guarantee you guys, there are more boxing subscribers to DAZN than baseball fans, than MMA fans, than any other group or subsection of fandom of sports. And for Joe Murkowski to berate boxing fans for not liking this card, not liking KSI Logan Paul, I think it's completely tone deaf. But hey, hope you guys credential me and I will ask you guys a bunch of fun questions on Fight Week.
I got a question, right? And we're making fun of Ronnie Rios. He just beat Diego De La Hoya. I thought Diego De La Hoya was going to be good. I thought he was one of those guys that was going to help save. Okay, Matt didn't think so.
Whoa, you thought Diego De La Hoya was the goods?
Yeah. I mean, do I think he's going to be the greatest?
No, I understand.
Super bantamweight. No, I thought he would have a title reign. He'd be good.
I'll put it this way: I respect Hector Tanajara's game more than Diego De La Hoya.
Okay. And that ain't a lot. But okay, hang on. My point was about Ronnie Rios. Ronnie Rios beat Jason Velez, didn't he?
Yes.
Did he not?
Yes.
He fought Robinson Castellano, and he fought.
He's fought everyone. Ronnie Rios has been a gamer for a long time.
What I'm saying is his fights are fun. He might not be the best fighter in the world, but if you're a casual watching it doesn't watch boxing, and you're only watching this to watch the other, and you catch this fight, you're going to be enthralled in a Ronnie Rios fight. It's going to be fun. He's going to throw a shit ton of punches. He's going to get hit a million times. He's going to hit his opponent a million times, and it's going to be a fun watch.
Yeah, that's about it.
Right, but again, and I get it, like because it's ridiculous to have Billy Joe and Devin Haney, a 2-division world champ, and I'm still going to call him a prospect, one of the best prospects in the sport, fighting on the undercard of this celebrity ridiculousness, right? It's like having the NBA All-Star game in the lead up to the celebrity game. It's like, no, that's backwards, right? Like you're supposed to have the celebrity game and then have the real game later on. But when you have this $1 billion investment and boxing's really all you have right now, this is what you have to do.
It's one night. Just Jesus.
But they haven't been saying it's just one night. Like Eddie Hearn has contradicted himself numerous times by saying, no, we're going to put Jake Paul in with another card versus some dude we never heard of. And he's talked about having both these guys fighting after it. I mean, he has said at times, oh, this is a one-off, but he's also contradicted that at times. And if this is even moderately successful, and let's be honest here.
It will be. Like, it will be.
Especially comparative to, like, Roblox and Super Series or, like, stuff like that, that is for hardcores. It would, I guarantee you they're going to try doing shit like this again. And if they keep putting bad cards together that only devalue boxing more, then the boxing fans are just going to further reject these cards.
You know what they should do? You know what they should do? They should put a New assuming a New wins, against Obali or something like that on the undercard. Therefore, give the hard cards their fix. It's going to be fun, right? Like, and then
cheap fight relative.
A cheap fight relative to the quality of fight that it is. And then you're going to bring in all the YouTube fans who are then going to see that fight. If you make one new fan, that's a win. You know what I'm saying? So put a good cheap fight on in the undercard and then give them this sideshow thing. But you're bringing them in, and when you bring them in, you're giving them a good fight that they're going to enjoy. And you don't have to break the bank to pay for it.
I agree. And like I said, like I even would accept playing this case, like Billy Joe Saunders versus Porky Medina. You know, like that's not the greatest fight in the world, but that's just somebody we know.
It's just Billy Joe's the wrong guy. And I get they want to sell Billy Joe because they're going to have Billy Joe fight Canelo next, prediction. But Billy Joe's the wrong guy to put on this card, right? Like, no casual fan who doesn't watch boxing, you say, oh, man, that was so much fun watching Billy Joe.
Devin Haney makes sense.
Devin Haney absolutely makes sense. Devin Haney's the perfect guy to put on the card. Billy Joe's the stupidest guy to put on the card.
But the matchup with Alejandro Santiago just makes no sense. It's just a waste. It's all it is a glorified commercial for some of these guys.
Yeah.
And it's costing us $20 a month to watch this. And again, other shit too, but
again, you're not. They don't count you, Matt, because your money's already counted. They don't.
I know, and yeah. I'm also getting yelled at for thinking this is a bad card by DAZN. But hey, you know, whatever.
No, it's not a bad card. It's a terrible card. So yeah. I would say you're underrating how bad the card is by saying it's a bad card.
This is by far the worst card of the year.
And that includes Andrade and Cat Dower.
I'm not talking
I guess that was last year.
I'm not talking about drawing power because obviously, like I said, you have tens of millions of 13-year-old kids that are going to be wanting to watch this. But regardless of that, in terms of boxing quality, this is by far the shittiest card of the year. Maybe some top-ranked cards could contend with that, some Oscar Valdez cards. But other than that, this is it for me. Like, this is by far the biggest pile of shit I've seen in a very long time. And for all those that, like, complain about, like, Mayweather McGregor being a circus fight, I mean, this is exponentially more of a circus fight than even that bullshit was.
But this is only 20. That was 100.
Yeah, but they were actual athletes.
They were actual athletes.
Yeah, so you pay for what you get.
High-level athletes, yeah.
Yes. These are two YouTubers.
Yeah.
That one started off doing videos, I think, streaming FIFA, like, video games. And the other guy has started off doing Vine fake music videos. Riveting stuff here, guys.
I still don't get Logan. I understand KSI. He likes video games. If you're a gamer, that culture, I get why he's. I don't understand why the Logan boys, why the Paul boys are famous. I don't understand. Like, I don't get it.
We've just discussed your age, Gary.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
They come from a very rich family, in LA, from an entertainment family, from what I know. Someone pushed the buttons for those guys. Just to be honest.
I'm not hating. I just don't understand. Like, I don't.
I'm
I don't
hating.
get it.
I'm hating. I think. I'm hating. I don't care.
They're like the people watching James Bond films and go, oh, "That's ridiculous. That wouldn't be able to happen." Instead of just take it for what it is. It's just, you know.
Well, no, James Bond doesn't then go and try to actually be a secret agent in real life.
No, I'm just saying, just
like
take
if that
take it for what it is.
I can take fake entertainment for fake entertainment all the time. Pro wrestling, for example, like it's fake, whatever. Movies, it's fake. But if you're fake not fake, if you're just YouTubers that make fake parody videos and music videos,
you ever cry at a movie?
Don't then come and do a actual sport and pretend it's the greatest thing since Ali. I don't care for that. That's bullshit.
That's just promotion.
No, it's bullshit. You can say it's promotion, but it's also bullshit, Rob. I know, like, you defend it because it's Matchroom. I get it. It's DAZN. No. You do. You've been defending it for months, bro. It's a bullshit card. It is the worst card of the year. This is a stain on boxing.
Yeah, no, Rob. I want to hear.
There's
Rob's
no defense of this bullshit, and the fact that you defend it's pathetic, in my opinion.
I want to hear your honest defense of this, right? Like, you're a hardcore fan.
Yes.
Right, you're a hardcore
Allegedly.
boxing fan. You went back and rescored the Cheeseman fight, right? You're a hardcore.
Yeah.
How does this fight, like, how does this not, like, I don't want to say piss you off because maybe you just don't respond like that. How does it not at least annoy you and get underneath your skin like they're making a mockery of my sport? Like, how does it not bother you a little bit?
Because I'm just taking it for what it is. I just feel like there's potential that, look, he asked me to talk, man.
I'm letting you talk, bro. Did I say a fucking word? I'm letting you talk.
About to. You drew
and
breath
I didn't talk. Go.
I started to interrupt
because
you
talked my way, so I'm responding to you. Go.
I don't even know what you said. I just think if there's a opportunity to put a new audience in front of boxing, do I necessarily think we're going to get 20% of them stick around, 10% of them stick around? Maybe not, but I just don't see why it's not worth the gamble, in my opinion. If it can somehow grow the sport a little more, put it in front of more people. It's just, look, I went to the first one and I was thinking, oh my God, I was sat there watching a lot of the undercard and like, oh my God. But I just heard people saying, can I start boxing? Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I try this out? Whether they did or didn't, I don't know. I didn't see those people again. But for me, it's an opportunity to maybe see some younger people get interested in our sport. Like I say, do they stick around? Do they really get interested in it? I don't know. But I think it's worth the gamble. And to use these two people is... They've had a air quotes fight before with headgear and massive gloves on, so you're about to
quickly. No one's saying they can't do it, Rob. People are saying if you do it right. This is a shitty card. You said you're going to put on good fights on the undercard, Eddie and DAZN. This has been a shit card. No one's saying they can't do it. I want to make that very clear here. So please argue what we are saying.
Yeah, you say like a stain on boxing. You're saying a stain on boxing.
Yes, this card is a stain on boxing. When you match up this level circus fight and put nothing on the undercard, complete dog shit, and then say that you hardcore fans should buy it up, that's a stain on boxing. Yeah, it devalues the sport. Absolutely. And for someone that would get emotional over Anthony Corolla retiring, you don't care at all about this. I'm finishing talking.
Hold on.
It's really telling. It's really telling that somebody would cry over a matchroom fighter retiring. No, they can hear me. Trust me, because they hear my system fine. They can hear me. You may not be able to hear me. They hear me. Okay? For someone that would cry over a matchroom fighter retiring, but doesn't care at all that boxing's been used like this, come on, man. Like, just say that, you know what, I'm biased about the situation. It's Matchroom. I'm going to support it and move on. Stop. Like, stop trying to argue some point that we aren't making. No one's saying they can't put this shit on, but do it right. And on top of that, don't talk down to the boxing fans that criticize it. Okay? Don't support that.
I can do what I like, Matt, and I don't know why you're allowed to jump in, but I can't. I hadn't finished talking, and you jumped in.
It's my show, yeah. I can do that.
Oh, it's your show. All right, okay. It's not a joint thing or anything like that, no?
I do a lot more on this show than you do. You have to admit that, Rob. We don't talk about that right now, but it's true.
All right, catch you later.
Bye, Rob. Bye.
Wah, wah, wah.
Look, I knew this was going to happen because I don't like this card. This card's bullshit. Rob defends it because why? He supports Matchroom, supports DAZN no matter what. And I have told him at times, don't do that on this show. Okay? I have made this platform something different than other YouTubers that just do the dog and pony show for promoters and networks. We aren't the boxing voice.
Name redacted.
Fuck, we can name it now. We aren't the boxing voice. Okay? We don't do that. Okay? If something's shit, we will call it out. Point blank, end of story. Okay? But Rob can get his feelings. It's all right. Knew this was going to happen. Gary, any other thoughts as I fix the cameras?
That got heated. No, I mean I'm with you. I don't. They made a garbage card with a ridiculous main event. I don't know. Again, I'm not going to cancel my subscription to DAZN, so like they don't care about me, and I get that. So like I'll watch the undercard. I don't know if I'll stick around. I mean, if you're going to the fight, obviously you're going to stick around.
Yeah.
But I'll watch the Haney blowout. I'll watch the Billy Joe snooze fest. I'll watch the Ronnie Rio scrap, and then I don't know what I got going on. I mean, I'll probably stay in and watch it because I need to talk about it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to make that comparison, but like they don't. The fight's not for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's so.
And look, I get the whole like, oh, it can bring in new fans. I get that argument. That's why I've never said they should never do this. But don't make it the main event on top of a card where you told us, DAZN and Eddie, you've told us you're going to put good fights on the undercard. And you didn't. You lied. You put dog shit tune-up fights for Devin Haney and Billy Joe Saunders and Ronnie Rios and guys like Diego Pacheco. Okay? And then on top of that, you berated hardcore fans for saying that that's a shit card. This platform's not going to be used to defend promoters. Like, that's just not what this is for. And Gary, like, I've had arguments with you about this before. Like, this is not what this is for. I'm very adamant about that. I will lose access. I will lose access to outlets. I will lose jobs for just speaking my opinion. I've done it before. Okay? I don't work for ShareDog anymore. Why? Because of my opinion. And I'm willing to state that opinion. So that's just how I am. And I just, again, I know bullshit when I see it. And arguing, again, I just like, be honest with your bias, people. Be honest with your bias. That's easy. Like, if you're just biased with situations, open up to it. That goes to Rob. That goes to everyone else. Gary, Foo, Anthony, me. Open up with your bias and be honest with it. And just move on. That's far easier in life. If you're just a fan of something and you just want to be a fan of something, then just say that and we can move on. Be 100 about it.
I don't understand the allegiance. I have an allegiance, obviously, to Texas fighters. Yeah. I get it. Okay, fine. I don't understand the allegiance, but like Hooker is one of my favorite fighters. He's with Eddie. Jamel and Jamal Spence, they're with PBC, right? Tanahara and Virgil, they're with Oscar. Like, I don't care. I don't understand the allegiance to a promoter, right? Like, I can't understand like why that is what like. And it's not just Rob. Like, there's a zillion and a half PBC fanboys, right? Like, why is it your allegiance to a promoter? That just seems so dumb. It's like saying, I'm only going to watch the NFL if it's on CBS. I'm never going to watch Fox. Fox is stupid. It's like, it's the same sport. It's the same product. How does it matter who is giving it to you? Now, you may say, I like NFL games on Fox better than CBS. Okay. But, like, the other one's good and one's bad. Like, it's Yankees, Red Sox, or Cowboys, Redskins. I don't understand that. Like, it makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I do a good job of trying to be objective and criticize all parties and all entities in the sport. I make that a point of what I do. That I criticize. That's what journalism, and I'm not a journalist, but that's kind of what I try to do at least. I try to do the best I can, even though I'm not one. I try to critique those in power as much as possible. And those are the networks, the promoters, and the managers, oftentimes. And maybe an occasion fighters. Okay? And to have any sort of opinion where like this is good for boxing is just inaccurate. It really is. Especially since, I mean, we didn't even get to this point, but this isn't going to be as successful as some people are thinking it's going to be. Why? Because it's DAZN and not YouTube. The access point of YouTube is far wider than DAZN. And that audience, the KSI Logan Paul audience, while they have done a very good job of promoting this fight and where it's going to be at, it's still a platform that is new to a lot of that subscriber base on YouTube. And that's going to be interesting to see the transition for that, to be honest. I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think. You know, it's not as seamless to go spend $20 for a month on an app. You know, people aren't usually okay with that, especially if they're spending their parents' money.
Have the purses for KSI and Logan Paul, have they been
No, I don't think so.
publicized yet?
No. Those probably would be publicized Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Friday. So.
It's probably going to be a real small guarantee with a lot of upside bonus, you would think, right?
For KSI Logan Paul, no, I think it would be the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, I think it would be the
Because
opposite.
they still have to pay Billy Joe. They still have to pay Devin. So it's like,
That's where the bulk of the money is going to, is these 4 guys.
yeah.
KSI Logan Paul, and then Billy Joe Saunders and Devin Haney, obviously. The rest is going to get...
If I said, give me a number, right? Like, I don't even know. I have no guess. If I said, give me a number, how many people do you think are going to watch this fight? Meaning pay $20 for it.
What's going to be the live viewership for this?
Yeah.
Well, luckily, it's not competing with much in the combat sports world, so that's a good thing. However, I don't think it does over Canelo Jacobs numbers, to be honest. So I think it does 400,000 viewers live on DAZN on the U.S. Like, that's my guess.
I guess you're double dipping, right? You're getting money from the UK too.
Yep.
All right. I mean, I was gonna say 600,000, but I have no idea. Like, I mean, you're probably closer than I am. I really don't know, because I don't know how many kids, 18, 19, or even younger, are gonna buy this thing with their parents' money. You know, like, if my kids came to me and said, I love boxing, so let's make it a hockey game. There's a hockey game on between the Logans and the KSI family. Can I have $20 to watch it?
Mm-hmm.
No. you know what I'm saying? Like, no.
While a maybe $10 YouTube pay-per-view, you might get away with it a little bit easier. You know, that's just the God honest truth.
Right.
But moving on, let's go to Santiago in LA. Santi, don't be mad at me, man. Hope we can still be friends.
I'm not even going to ask. In terms of everything that's been said today, Matt, I'm sure you know a lot of people what I do and don't stand for, what I do and don't care for, and how I show it to you. So let me just start off with the one fight that if you do get credentialed for and you go to, it's whatever at that point, right? Mm-hmm. I saw the first fight. Rob went there live, right? And I think it was an okay thing. I didn't see it as the you're a mocker, you're making a mockery of boxing or this and that or whatever kind of bullshit, because we did our own thing too. All right, I'm not gonna say much on that, but we did our own thing too. And I will say this: on both ends, both as a boxing fan and as someone that follows YouTubers, they definitely dropped the ball in my opinion. All right, there's this guy whose videos I followed on YouTube named Andre, who did his own takes on the whole event, mm-hmm. KSI, Logan Paul, this and that, doing his whole thing with the rematch and whatnot. And from the YouTubers' perspective, right, they also feel let down because when Eddie Hearn came out and said there were going to be no other YouTubers, how did they do it in the first place? YouTubers. There were no professional boxers. It had its own brand of success. So imagine a market where there's a 9-year-old who's a KSI or Logan Paul fan, and they're going to the fight live, and sitting right next to them is a 49-year-old who's there to go see Billy Joe Saunders, right? How do you expect there to be any mingle, Like, he suggested that one thing they could have done to help appease both YouTubers and boxing fans is to kind of do it like an entertaining thing, right? One's a pro fight, one's a YouTuber fight. Pro fight usually started going up to the main event, whether that was a YouTuber main event or a boxing main event, right? So it's a shit card from a boxing perspective. And from a YouTuber perspective, there's very little to entice these people because, yes, you do have, KSI and Logan Paul, two guys who have their own following who are probably going to tune in. But after that, like, what else do you have to entice them? If anything, they feel more like they're being looked down upon because, they try to do their own videos and whatnot. And what happens? Because it's the DAZN, they get flagged for copyright infringement. Mm-hmm. So there is a lot of wrong with the way that the event was handled, in my opinion. And it doesn't just fall on one category or another. It's just the whole thing that it's a shit event. It's a shit event from a boxing perspective, and it's a shit event from a YouTuber perspective.
No,
Your thoughts on that?
I really like the way you angled that and framed it from another angle. I didn't look at it from a YouTuber's perspective because I really didn't care, to be honest. But you're right that, like, from a YouTuber's perspective or a fan of YouTubers, this is also a shit card. Because the first one was just all YouTubers, so you went there as a fan of YouTubers, just watch all the people you knew and know and watch. If you're, again, a 9-year-old or 13-year-old fan of YouTubers coming here, there's one fight on this card that's for you. Everything else is not for you. It's for 49-year-old boxing fans, like you said. And on top of that, even those boxing fights for the 49-year-olds are shit fights. So you're not only pissing off boxing fans, you're pissing off YouTuber fans. And it seems like, I love the way you framed it. Like, this is just a complete failure on both sides because they didn't appease anyone here. They just pissed off everyone. And you can't do that. I like the way you framed that. And again, bring in another perspective in there, Santiago. I appreciate that.
Hey, that's what I'm here for, man. Gary, give me your take on this. I don't know if you follow YouTubers or anything like that, but I would like your opinion on it.
I don't follow YouTubers. From a boxing perspective, no. The boxing cards suck. I have no interest in watching Logan Paul and KSI fight each other. I didn't watch the first one.
Billy Joe Saunders versus Coceres. Marcelo Coceres doesn't get you going?
No. Okay. I like Billy Joe as a boxer, right? Like, he's really good. But he's not entertaining. Like, no one's like, did you see that Billy Joe fight? That had me on the edge of my seat all day, right? Like, it's going the distance, too. Like, Billy Joe's going to take it 12 rounds. You got to see the scorecards. Hopefully a headbutt stops it early, like the accidental cut that gashes someone open, and we got to stop it to go to the cards earlier. Because, that fight's going to entertain zero casual fans. And then Devin Haney, he's good. It's always good to see Devin Haney. I wish he was fighting somebody better. So you have Devin Haney in a tune-up match, and you have Billy Joe putting everyone to sleep. So now you better really hope Ronnie Rios is in a war, because other than that, right? Am I wrong? But Ronnie Rios is going to be the most entertaining.
No, look, that makes me think card placement's going to be really important for the momentum of this card. Is Billy Joe the co-main event?
It better be Devin Haney, because Devin Haney's the star. Billy Joe is never going to be a crossover star in the U.S. ever.
But Billy Joe is at least was a legit middleweight champion. He's not a legit real super middleweight champion right now because he beat a Sufi for that vacant belt. But he was a legit middleweight champion. He has legitimate wins. Devin Haney, not really. I don't know here. If you're talking about pure merit, Billy Joe should be on higher billing than Devin Haney. Right? From a pure meritocracy perspective.
Yes, if there was a zone card that came out and Billy Joe was fighting a legitimate fighter and Devin Haney was fighting a legitimate, Billy Joe would be the marquee name.
Okay, all right, that's why I'm saying shouldn't he be the co-main? But it's a YouTuber card. Do they put Devin Haney as the co-main because Devin Haney has the most potential to cross over to that fan base? And let's be honest, it's a showcase. I'm in a tune-up. It's a showcase fight. He should get a first round knockout here in devastating fashion and excite all these young kids in the crowd.
Are you talking about Haney? You're not talking about Billy Joe.
No, I'm just talking about
Billy Joe's going to the cards. You know that. It's 120 to 108. You can hand your card now, right? But
you're right from a entertainment perspective and to Santiago's perspective from how to engage the YouTuber fan perspective. Because if this whole venture is to hope that some kids that watch these YouTubers are going to become boxing fans, then Haney is the impression that you want to leave off on, right? And
not Billy Joe.
Not Billy Joe. But again, if you're Billy Joe and you're put before Devin Haney, this upstart kid, maybe you're not too happy about that. I'm just curious what they do here because there's a no-win situation here. No win.
Years ago, I have a friend. One of my best friends from college was a huge UFC fan, right? And
Good friend.
he had no interest in boxing at all, right? So I'm like, I'm ordering this fight. Come over and watch it. Hopkins versus Tarver. I get into the third round. I'm like, why would I try to sell him on Hopkins versus Tarver, right?
Hey, to that point, in college, I told my friends, "Yo, come, Terrence Crawford's the man, right? Let's all chip in for this pay-per-view against Victor Postal." Yo. My friends hated me for a week, man. They were so mad at me. But I mean, to the point, like if you're a 9-year-old, 13-year-old taking your parents to the fights, and Billy Joe Saunders is the last real boxing impression you had before KSI, maybe that's a rough impression for boxing to people that aren't boxing fans. Santiago.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you guys get my points too, and bringing in a different side. Because look again, you look at you guys. You guys are on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
You know, you're on iHeartRadio. You know, they can find you on IG, Twitter, and all that good stuff. You know, there's a market there that helped push the first fight in the first place, and for them to basically say, we're gonna have them, but it's gonna be our way, is basically like a slap to that market, especially when they can't do what they did that helped make it successful in the first place.
I agree entirely.
They dropped the ball. They dropped the ball on both ends. And, you know, and like the thing is, too, is like, and I'm sure you know this, too, like, there were a bunch of YouTubers on there that are actual combatants that practice their own, you know, martial arts, boxing. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of a guy named Faye Sensei. Like, he's a legit practitioner, and he's actually had some MMA fights. So, like, if you could have those kind of guys there to make it more appeasing to us, I would say I could accept that, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's just, you know, so many doors that they just walked away from instead of opening them and seeing, like, how can we continue to make this more, you know, entertaining and involving for the fans that are of not just these guys, but may potentially become fans of, you know, boxing. You know, like Rob said when he was leaving, there were kids there that he was hearing say, "Hey, I want to go try boxing. Can I go the next day?" or so on and so forth. And you know, you don't want to close those doors. You want to create a way for them to actually be like, "This is open to me." You know, because as a kid that's introverted, that's been to boxing gyms, my first impression when I went there, man, I did not feel like I belonged. Mm-hmm. You know, I was not introduced to boxing the way most other people were. My introduction to boxing was anime. So,
which is completely acceptable.
Let that be a lesson.
Anime's dope.
So let that be a lesson for a lot of these old guards that think that they know the way because they've been around longer. It's the same situation with like women's boxing and whatnot. Mm-hmm. You got to keep an open mind. You just have to. So that's all I have to say about that one. And, you know, Jamal Herring, I saw his fight against Masayuki Ito. I thought he had a good performance. I am favoring him against Lamont Rhodes Jr. I think he's going to come away with a decision on this one. I don't think he's going to have a long title reign, though. I'm with Gary on that one. Like, I think he will eventually be the soon-to-be former, but I don't think it'll be this night. I think that he's got enough of the basics rounded out in his mid-range game to give Lamont Rhodes Jr. problems. And it may be a little bit ugly, but it'll be a win we can say he definitely won that one.
I agree. Santi, you going to talk about the actual marquee fight of the weekend, the one that you should be hyped for? The Monster fighting Donaire.
Ready to save that one for last. Oh, man, dude, I'm just weirded out that I have to be up so early in the morning for this one, but I could care less at this point because, like, you brought me on this guy, and you know that my love goes all the way to Japan at that point, so I'm looking forward to seeing him. You know, and it's a shame because I definitely think that once upon a time I probably would have considered this fight to be very much 50-50, and maybe may have even sided with Donaire on this one because at 118 he was definitely the original monster, and at 122 I thought he did good. and he joins that long list of fights that never got made when they never made him versus Morris at 122. I'm sure you remember the
Yep.
whole saga that was Maris Donaire.
Yeah, and then like even like Mars and like Leo Santa Cruz and like Rigo, like all those fights at 122 that should have happened that we never got, man. It was depressing. Like that span of years from like 2000, gosh, what was that? Like 12, 11 to like 2014-ish. All those great fights
At the very least.
at Super Bantamweight that we should have got just never happened, honestly.
Or they happened too late at a higher weight class
Yeah.
where one
Yes.
guy
Yeah.
suited it better than the other, a.k.a. Abner Mars getting knocked out in the first round by Johnny Gonzalez, or, Rigonda having his breakout performance against Donaire, but more or less not being the entertaining draw everyone would have expected of him and actually becoming poison for a while.
Or even like Leo Mares, like at 122, is that a different fight? Because Mares at 122 was a different fighter than 126. Like with that,
Definitely, for sure.
if there was one of those fights in that series that was at 122, would Mares have one on the ledger? I don't know.
Yeah. It's one of those shoulda, woulda, coulda at that point, but, we're here now. There's a new monster from Japan. His name is Naoya Inoue, and I think that within 5 rounds, he'll probably have Donaire figured out. But you are right. I'm very curious to see what happens if Donaire does land that patent left hook. Because at 118, we see that left hook is still as dangerous as it was when he left that division. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not he has a chin of God as well. Because, that hook could kill people. So I'm very curious to see how well Donaire does to give Inoue some adversity. But I will say this, too. If we see, at this point, in my opinion, patent Inoue have his way with Donaire, man, it is amazing what we are privileged to see today in boxing.
We might come back to that is a new way, pound for pound number 1 after that. If he really just demolishes Donaire, like let's say in a round or two, right? Like Payano style, Rodriguez style, right? Like truly dominant. I don't think this fight will be as dominant as those two fights. Maybe you disagree with me, Gary or Santiago, but I think this fight's going to be more competitive than those two. But if it isn't, I mean, God, he just passes every test with flying colors, man, and in ways that no one else is doing, if that's the case. That would be a very scary thought to have it, to think that Inoue would just demolish Donaire in 2 rounds, man.
Yeah, and I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt of going some rounds. So my pick is Inoue. I think he's going to come away and have the kind of performance that makes a guy like you and me just look at the TV and be like, my God.
So you say the 5th, Matt says the 6th, and I say the 4th, so we're all kind of on the same page. I think we all see this fight kind of the same.
Yeah, where they meet in the center and they really exchange combinations, but Inoue just kind of gets the better of it.
Let me ask you this, Santiago. If Inoue went up to 122, if he fought Figueroa, who would you pick?
I'd probably pick Inoue, but I will tell you this much. I think at 122, Inoue does become mortal.
What if he went to
I've had that same
126?
thought process with a variety of different... Sorry?
What if he went to 126 and fought Gary Russell Jr.?
Bridge too far.
Okay.
Fish out
I
of
mean,
water,
I was going
probably
to keep
favor
going
Gary
until
Russell at that
eventually...
point.
Go ahead. What did you say? I'm sorry.
I said fish out of water, I'd probably favor Gary Russell. That hand speed and the weight difference would just be too much in my opinion.
Okay, so we're saying 20, and that's kind of my max for him too, was 22. 26. I mean, there'll be guys he can beat at 26, but he's not going to take out the top guys at 26.
Yeah, he would be looking at something like what Canelo did with Kovalev at that point. Because if they're going to do what Mikey tried to do, nah, he's not going to have that kind of success, man. I see it the same way I see it with Lomachenko trying to fight at 140. It's stay at 135. You're mortal now, but you're still good.
I agree.
Look at Canelo, man. Like, he struggled in parts. Even if you were like thinking like Canelo was winning that fight, Kovalev was doing work, man. Like Kovalev was doing really good work against Canelo. That was the worst Canelo has looked in a while, in my opinion, including the Triple G fights.
Since the Laura fight.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you on that. Yes, where we looked like Canelo almost looked out of his comfort zone. Like he didn't know what to do. He didn't know what combinations to throw. He ran out of ideas at times. Like that version of Canelo that we saw way back against Lara kind of came up again against Kovalev. And I think that in large part because of just the weight disparity. Honestly, like that's weight classes are there for a reason, guys. And Niue going up to 122 and 126, that might just be too much for him. Even 122, like Roman, Doheny, Vargas, Figueroa. I feel like I'm Rigo. I mean,
Haney and
I mentioned Doheny. Like all those guys, I think give Inoue really tough work. Like I don't think it's an easy Inoue pick for all those guys unless we see Inoue demolish Donaire, Louis Neary, Obali, and all these guys at 118.
I think he does though, right? Because he demolished Manny Rodriguez, who I thought was like I didn't think Rodriguez was going to beat him. Right?
You overhyped Manny. You overhyped Manny Rodriguez.
Maybe.
I think you
he
did.
He was fed the top ranked diet for sure.
Go back and look at that resume. Like again, Paul Butler's his best win.
Butler, yeah.
No, it's not Maloney. It's because Maloney. Who did he beat?
Nobody.
Yeah. Like he's Australian. Like guys, like I love my Australian friends, submission radio guys. Love you, but in boxing, it is not a deep regional scene. Let's just be honest about it. Jeff Horn became something out of Australia. Right, let's just be honest. But Santiago, any other points? Obali, Takuma Inoue. Thoughts on that one? Because that seemed to be a contentious one for the panel.
It's a hard one for me to pick. And for me, history has shown me that when you have two brothers fighting and one is clearly the better of the two, the other brother's probably going to lose if they're fighting on the same card. That being said, though,
was that a shot at Jamel?
That was 100% a shot at the Charlo brothers. 110%. I love it.
But with that being said, too, I do think it's going to be a hard fight. But Kimura lock, I'm probably going to side with Ubali on this one.
I agree with you. Anything else, Santi?
No, you guys, I think have probably asked me all the questions you have to ask me at this point.
I wanted to ask you.
To the show.
I wanted to ask you two quick questions.
Oh,
if you got a minute. You were talking about people going to the non-boxing fans going to the KSI Logan Paul fight. Do you really think that's how you get? Like I grew up, I saw Pernell Whitaker fight Buddy McGirt, and then who did he fight? Right before it was two fights in a row. I'm like, I love that guy, right? It was like boxing at its highest level. He made it look like an art, right? And then I saw like Holyfield Bow, and I just fell in love with the sport from seeing it at that level. Do you really think like kids are gonna go see Logan Paul and KSI swing like out of control at each other, and that's gonna make them want to play the sport?
Well, like I said earlier, Gary, look at it from my perspective, too. My introduction to boxing wasn't the same as yours. My introduction to boxing was my best friend nagged me to watch a Japanese cartoon. And when I watched that Japanese cartoon, which happened to be about boxing, that's when I fell in love with the sport. That's when I really said to myself, this is a sport I want to do. And a lot of what I learned about boxing, I learned from that same anime.
Okay. I mean, I guess Rafael Pineda, I just looked it up. It was Pineda, then it was McGirt. But those are the two fights that made me the biggest Whitaker fan. And then obviously the Chavez fight came about a year later. But okay. I mean, you think that I get it's going to reach people differently, and it's not a mainstream sport, so you got to try different avenues to get it there. I guess. I mean, I see it doing more harm than good, but I mean, maybe you're right.
No, you're right. Look, like I said, from both perspectives, they dropped the ball because YouTubers, the ones that were helping support this in the beginning, in the first one, they're feeling ousted. They're feeling like they can't talk about it because, again, a lot of YouTubers that were doing the whole promotion for this event, and whatnot, they're getting their content, flagged for copyright by DAZN because it's DAZN. So you can imagine how they must feel that what's going on. We did this last time. Why can't we do this again? I would definitely recommend you check out the YouTube channel of Andre Turbia. It's a video called How DAZN Drew in KSI versus Logan Paul. I think if you watch that fight, you might understand the perspective of the YouTubers there.
One other thing I wanted to mention, I meant to tell you this last time. Every once in a while, I just go back and watch like a random Pernell Whitaker fight on YouTube. I watched his first fight with Jose Luis Ramirez, which was his first title shot, which was in Spain, I think, and he was robbed. Might have been France. I think it was Spain. But one of the judges scored it 118-113. So that's like, what is that, 3 even rounds? I'm like, did Santiago score this fight?
Yeah. Hey, it was an earlier time. It was in a different country, so who knows how their scoring system is. But I remember that fight very well. I actually have to put that one on my archive.
Yeah, I mean, Pernell was my guy, so I just randomly go back and watch his fights. Those are my only questions.
You would really be impressed by Santiago's. He has like a 2 terabyte hard drive, right, that he brings around with him, and just filled with fights. Like he is like pirated and torn it off of shit, right? And it's like fights from like go back like 100 fucking years, man. This guy has everything. Like you can almost like name any major fight in literally the last 100 years, and Gary has some form of footage on it, guaranteed.
Oh yeah,
That's
I was surprised when I had the Max Baer versus James Braddock fight from 1937 in its entirety. Sorry, 1935 in its entirety.
Yeah, this guy's nuts, man. He's the human box wreck. But yet you also found boxing through anime. Interesting. Santiago, thank you for the call, man. Always appreciate it. Anyways, guys, we're going to head out of here. Inoue, Donaire. Thank God we have that at least. Though, I'll be honest, that KSI Logan Paul card is still trash. And I think... Santiago, I think, really put it perfectly. Like, it has dropped the ball and may be a dud for not just boxing fans, but also YouTubers and, like, their fans. And that's what the entire card was geared towards. Like, that's what the premise of this circus show was sold on, was that it was going to be a show that entices these YouTuber fans who are kids to watch the sport. But they're already turned off by it, apparently. So... I mean, interesting case here. I'm very curious to see what numbers get leaked or released about this upcoming KSI Logan Paul card. But regardless, first hardcore is early Thursday morning, 5 a.m. Eastern. Thursday morning. Inoue, Donaire, DAZN, World Boxing Super Series finale. A passing the torch moment potentially in boxing. Make sure you watch that one besides anything else this weekend. I'm trying to think anything else that's coming up. Again, I don't know if I'm credentialed for the card yet, so don't know what this fight week and schedule looks like for the channel and me yet, but once I find out if I'm credentialed, I'll let you guys know what the schedule looks like for shows and everything up for upcoming this week. But find me, Mount Hunter, MCR, all platforms, social media. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe, patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. Leave a comment down below who you think is going to win the big fight, Inoue or Donaire, down below. And also, I mean, let me know your thoughts on the KSI Logan Paul card. Is it a stain on boxing, or is it worth it to do that shitty of a card to maybe get a couple kids to like boxing? Let me know down in the comment section below. Gary, your thoughts, final thoughts, and where can people find you?
I mean, I think we got into everything. It was a long show. Find me on all forms of social media at 3D Boxing. Have a good night. God bless.
Peace.